Hey, everybody, it's Chris Aiken from the Classic Metal Show and the Aftershocks podcast. And I know you want to see this next episode, but right before we do it, just want to remind you that if you have an Amazon device, whether it's a TV or a Fire Stick or Fire Cube or whatever it would be, a Fire Box if you're old school, make sure you add the CMS PN to it. Just look up CMS Podcast Network on your Amazon device. Add the channel, and you will get every episode of all 4 shows for free right there on your TV. Make us part of your TV viewing every single day and night, all right? It's the CMS Podcast Network, cmspn.com, and it is now on Amazon. So get it, all right? All right, here's the episode you came to see.
TRadioV. Radio in TV. Radio in TV.
All right. Hello, everyone, and happy Veterans Day to you. It is Bob Nalbandian, the host of the Inside Metal TV show right here on TRadioV. And our guest tonight is not here yet, but we got Don Dokken going to be coming in any minute now. Stuck in LA traffic, as you know, at 3 p.m. on a Tuesday in LA. Traffic is pretty heavy. So Don's going to be joining us in a few minutes. And want to let you know we got some great things going on with the Inside Metal movie. We are hitting theaters starting today. Theaters will start in throughout Europe and Austria and a couple other countries, and it will be hitting North Hollywood tomorrow, Wednesday the 11th. Is that right? Or is today the 11th? Wednesday the 12th. And in Pasadena. Here's the tour dates right now. He's scrolling down. Got some Arizona dates. There's the California dates. And we're going all the way through pretty much the month of November. And as I mentioned, this will be the first half. It's quite a long movie, so this will be the edited version of the Pioneers at LA Hard Rock and Metal, the 90-minute version. So you can definitely check it out. If you missed the tour dates there, you could just go to metalrockfilms.com. That'll give you all the tour dates on the Inside Metal movie, again, playing at theaters, hopefully in your area. And if it's not, we're going to get it out on DVD probably, hopefully around the first of the new year. And it should be on all the digital channels, the Netflix and all that kind of stuff. So why don't we do the trailer for the movie before Don gets here? I'll give you a little preview of the Inside Metal, Pioneers of LA Hard Rock.
There was no hip-hop, there were no boy bands, there was no punk, there was nothing. It was rock and roll.
You could sense when you went to Hollywood that it was, felt like there was more girls. You know, the rainbow, Richie Blackmore, Jimmy Page, Led Zeppelin.
Parties were like a phenomenon back there.
Things started happening so quickly, we were kind of like
thousands of kids would show up.
But LA was doing it.
People underestimate the power of the 70s influence.
That whole scene, in LA was the scene.
the meddlers against the punkers.
You gave them some blow and a couple of quaaludes and cocktails, and all of a sudden, it was game on.
Helicopter shining the light down on everybody.
You give a young band like that, a couple $1 million, they are going to get fucked up.
It seemed like we had the world by the balls. And we did. The LA scene was huge. God, it was wild.
All right, there you go. That's the trailer for our first title of the Inside Metal series. Again, the pioneers of LA hard rock and metal, and that'll be hitting the theaters starting tomorrow. Go to metalrockfilms.com. That'll give you all the theater dates. And again, coming out on DVD, the first of the new year. This is, as I said, the first title of the 3 of the LA metal series. The second one will be called, there's the poster for it, Pioneers of LA Hard Rock and Metal, which is really between like 75 to 81, basically the formation of the hard rock and metal years in LA, the Van Halen era, as people say. The second one will be the LA Metal Scene Explodes. That's going to be our second title coming out. That'll cover roughly around, it'll be like the follow-up from 82 to about 86. And the third one will be the rise of LA thrash metal, and that's going to give props to all the great thrash and speed metal bands, as it was called, speed metal, back in the 80s from Los Angeles that really didn't get their due because, San Francisco kind of took the throne on thrash metal, and LA was always known more for the glammier hair metal bands, but a lot of great thrash and power metal and, speed metal bands from the LA area that we're going to get into. So we're going to take a quick break. Hopefully by the time we get back, Mr. Don Dokken will be here. So TRadioV, Inside Metal.
Hey, I'm Dean Cain, and you are watching TRadioV. I'm watching it too. Right now. Seriously.
I'm Debbie Kay, professional poker player and host of the new poker show, The Flop, Thursdays at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on TRadioV. Come play with me and dive into the world of poker, where each week I'll discuss the lives of grinders and nits with local rounders and celebrity guests. Who knows? I may even shuffle a scandal or two. If you want to know what's happening on the felt and learn a tip or two from the pros, I'll be dealing it to you weekly. So tune in to TRadioV every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Are you ready to get your grind on? TRadioV. Radio and TV.
Hello, I am food and travel guru Mark DiCarlo.
And I'm Yenny Alvarez, a traveling diva.
And we're doing a new show right here on TRadioV called A Fork on the Road. I've been to over 500 cities in America and elsewhere, and I know where to stay, what to eat, and what to do for fun when you're there, and so does she, because she's the traveling diva.
Yeah, traveling diva, not traveling hobo.
Right. What's the first thing people ask you every time you come back from a trip?
Food. What'd you eat?
What'd you eat? Was it good? Was it bad? Where'd you stay? How much did you spend? We have all the answers because we know people everywhere. Every week we'll be interviewing a different chef, a different celebrity, a different musician, people that travel for a living and who know all the back roads.
Authentic travel, authentic food, great places to go, festivals. I love festivals.
We love festivals.
So every Tuesday at 4.
And we're going to be bringing it all to you each week, like she said, Tuesdays at 4. So for food, fun, and travel, you come right back here to us. Mark DiCarlo.
And I'm Yenny Alvarez.
And we'll see you
on A Fork on the Road.
TRadioV. Radio in TV. Radio in TV.
All right, we are back. The Inside Metal Show on TRadioV, and my guest has arrived, Mr. Don Dokken.
Hello.
How you doing, Don?
I made it.
Got caught in the LA traffic, huh?
It's the wrong time of day to be doing anything when you live at the beach. I mean, the nearest freeway is at least 40 minutes to get on the freeway. Then you sit there for a couple of days.
Yeah, dude, I know how it is. They give me the best time, 3 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon.
You got to take a lunchbox when you come into Hollywood.
I thought you were going to hit the rainbow. Grab some chicken soup.
I was gonna, but as you see, I got the black all over my fingers. I was doing some plumbing, a little ABS and some PVC. And
look at Don. If you guys need a plumber, call Don Dokken.
But the thing is, the lesson about plumbing is if you're doing plumbing, put gloves on. This shit won't come off for a week.
All right. Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I got a lot of projects going on. Yeah, I built a couple houses. I'm putting pumps into my koi ponds, and I'm trimming trees, and it's a lot of work. It's 6 o'clock in the morning every morning, and you got to get up with the sunrise and meditate, and with Lady E, and then we start our day and a little coffee, and then we hit the yard. Man, I'm up in the trees. We have like 40 trees that are over 100 years old.
Wow!
And I have to go up there. We have to trim them, and we're cutting them, and I don't know. It's just a continuous project, and then I try to take a break, and take a nap. I love power naps, man. And then we have dinner, and then she hits the sack about 9. I go in the studio, down the basement, hit the studio, and
It's
just
the
start.
life of a rock and roller, right there, man.
I have to, I do my music because it's an outlet. But there's something about, I don't know. There's something about like digging mud and planting and trimming trees. It's a very peaceful thing to do.
Absolutely.
We're building like a
beautiful area too.
Oh man, it's so nice down there in the Palisades. You're right, 5 minutes from the ocean. And we have like several acres of land, and there's no neighbors, and it's just rivers running down the mountain, and our fish, and it's just very peaceful.
Very nice.
I like it. It's a good place to record.
Oh, absolutely. And you got your own studio, right?
Yeah, we just, I used to have a big studio in Redondo for years and years and years.
Was that Total Access?
No, it was next to Total Access. I did a lot of albums at Total Access with Win Davis, but then I decided, I'm spending a lot of money here, Win, no offense, but there was a building next door, like 100 yards away, and I just went in there and spent a couple $100,000 and built a studio and did 2 Dokken albums. A lot of punk bands worked there, Pennywise and Great White, and their rock band, and just tons of bands would come in. Because I'd be on tour, and I'd just say, here's the keys, boys, because I was just trying to pay it forward. Yeah. Because a lot of bands, they don't have a budget.
Sure.
When Pennywise came, they go, hey, we have a $10,000 budget. I'm like, wow, I had $1 million budget. And we spent all of it. They go, 10 grand? You want to cut it? But they go, but we do everything live. They're a punk band.
Right, sure.
So Pennywise would come in, and they just throw their 10 grand down to keep my engineers busy, paid the rent, and it paid the electricity. And I say, have fun, don't destroy the place, don't pee on the console. And Fletcher go, I can't pee on the console? I go, Fletcher, you can't pee on the console, man. Sorry. You can't pee anywhere but in the toilet. They broke a lot of toilets for some reason, that band.
Pennywise.
Oh, Pennywise, man. Those guys, they're just rough on toilets. But, a lot
But
of
you're
those
a
bands
plumber,
came
so
in.
you could always fix a toilet.
That's true, and I did plenty of that. But, so, I sold the studio because, the world's changed. Tape machines are gone.
Sure.
Record companies are gone. People can buy a Mac Pro this big, buy a Pro Tools, go in your bedroom, and make a record.
It's a whole new world, man.
It's
You've
a whole
done
new
a
world.
lot of production. I know you've done a lot of, the contemporaries of the 80s and early 90s XYZ and stuff. You've also worked with St. Vitus. You produced one of their albums.
Yeah, St. Vitus, because the drummer, God rest his soul, Armando Acosta, I went to high school with him. So I knew Armando since I was in Venice High School, and it was funny because he had his cool lowrider. I can't remember what it was. I think it was an Oldsmobile or something. But I had a chopper. But choppers ain't real good for taking on dates.
Right.
I mean, that was the only thing I could afford. I had this old panhead, full-blown, rigid, long front end, suicide ship, and he loved my bike. And I'd want to go on a date, and I'd say, I'll give you the panhead for the night. You give me your lowrider, and so we went through high school together. And then years later, he joined St. Vitus. So I said, dude, come in, and maybe we should step it up a little bit of a notch. They were a trippy. They made Black Sabbath look like speed rock. They were so like doom, doom, blah, doom, 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 da da doom. And he passed away a couple years ago, which is sad. I was sad, but so he came in. I did St. Vitus, and I tried to help him out, and it wasn't really my forte. And I said, I'll just try to get good sounds for you, and get you on just try to make it sound a little more high end.
Right.
Not that it was conducive to their music, but they wanted a more a super high quality album.
That was a good album.
It was a good album, so I produced great. And then but from XYZ to a lot of English bands. I didn't know how many bands I'd produced till I saw my quote unquote discography and somebody put it on the internet, and I was like, who? Who did I produce? Who? I don't remember that. A couple bands had a number of top 10 hits in England, and I discovered Great White.
Yeah, you did their first EP, right?
EP, yeah. I found him because I knew Mark Kendall from Zizix, as Jack says in your movie, and then he said, I'm going to join this band. I got this guy named Jack, and so I just said, I went out to Orange County, and as we all used to do, you put the stinky carpet on the walls of the garage, and it smelled like cat pee, and I checked him out, and I said, I got a guy named Michael Wagner, before he turned into the Michael Wagner of doing everybody from Metallica to Poison to Motley Crue. I mean, he did everybody.
To Janet Jackson.
Oh yeah, Michael, Ozzy, one of his greatest albums. No More Tears, and so I said, Michael and I, we need money. We're broke. So I tell you what, you give us $7,500 and we'll cut the album for like $4,000. I'll give a couple grand to Michael, a couple grand to me when you pay our rent for 4 months, because our rent was like $800 a month. And Michael's living on the couch, and so we did Great White, and got them their start, and that was it.
Well, talk about the start. Talk about your start with Dokken, and we're going to go back to Airborne, which is covered extensively in this movie, Pioneers of L.A. Hard Rock and Metal.
Yeah.
You took a trip to Germany pretty early on during the whole punk era when it hit hard in the L.A. scene in the early 80s, and you hooked up with Dieter Dierks and, of course, Michael Wagner. And you did, a lot of people don't know, you did a little bit of work on the Scorpions Black Album.
Sang the
backup vocals.
I sang the high notes,
right,
because Klaus had like vocal surgery, he had polyps. A lot of vocal singers I've had surgery in my left vocal cord, and you get polyps. I mean, it's like anything you use a muscle and you sing, thousands of shows. I mean, you're gonna wear it out. Pavarotti, I mean, he couldn't. He was a tenor, and late in his life, he had to drop it down because even though he was like no flowers in the room, I want any pollen, he didn't drink, he warmed up for 2 hours, and even Pavarotti said, his voice started to, we talked real high, and we talked like this when we're young, and then we get the squeak, when we're 14, and then you have
like
your
Peter Brady and the Brady Bunch.
Exactly, and then you have your sweet days of 23 to 33, where your voice is right in the zone, and you have a lot of range, but it's wear and tear. And so when I met Dieter, he saw me at the Whiskey, and said, he said, I don't like your band, but I said, oh, well. He goes, but I like your voice, and I like the way you play guitar, but you'd like to go to Germany and do some background vocals? And I went, Germany? I'd never been out of the country.
Right.
I don't speak German, I don't know anything, and so I went to Germany, and well, actually, I take that back. Maybe it was after I went to Germany. I don't remember. 79, because like you talk about in the movie, Van Halen got signed.
Right.
So okay, this is it, man. They're the first LA band. So Quiet Riot and Smile and Snow and Dokken, we're all gonna get this record deal.
Right.
Nope. All of a sudden, the Plimsolls and all that kind of, and then there was Black Flag when Keith Morris was still singing with them, and there was and then there was the hardcore crazy bands like the Mentors with with El Duce. Poor guy jumped in front of a train. They say, I'm not sure. I think he was murdered myself. But all that was going on. So I'm like, okay, you got punk, and so I went to Germany. I said, well, there's nothing going on here. And then some people said, but rock's huge. Saxon and Judas Priest and Scorpion. This is going on in Germany. And I went, well, that's all the bands I love.
Right.
So I went to Germany and did like 30 shows. Juan Cruci on bass. We were a three-piece. I played lead guitar, rhythm, and vocals. Juan sang. Greg Peck was on drums. We were a three-piece, and did that tour, and came back. Still nothing. And that's when I had played many shows with George Lynch and Mick Brown. They were in a band called The Boys.
Right. Now that was right after Exciter, right?
No, before. Well, they were called The Boys when we were all playing the Strip.
Right.
Van Halen, The Boys, The Quiet Riot. I have a flyer of Randy when he joined Ozzy, and he did his last 2 nights with Quiet Riot. Right. And it was Van Halen, Quiet Riot, Dokken.
Wow.
Or was it Airborne? Don't know. But we played the Starwood 2 nights, sold out. And I played these shows with George, and I said, man, that guy's he's probably the heir to the throne of the next Eddie Van Halen.
Absolutely. And
Mick was a great drummer and singer. So when I came back in Germany, I said, guys, I got this, I think I'm going to get a record deal. I did this demo in Germany. That was the deal. You sing on the Scorpions album, I'll let you use the studio for 5 days. Full blown, free, but I had no band.
Right.
So I had Bobby Blotzer, who was over there. I got him a gig in a band called Big Forget. He was in at Dieter's studio recording in Big Forget, and Juan's brother Tom Crucier. Right. So they were there. I said, guys, I got these songs, and I need to have no band. Let's just do a quick demo. Bobby and Tom played, and there's a song "Paris is Burning," which became a very famous for Dokken. It wasn't my song.
It was Exciter.
It was. It was actually The Boys.
Oh, The Boys. Okay.
And I called George or Mick, and I said, hey, you guys don't play that song anymore. I heard. And they said, no, man. That kind of music's done. We're now called Exciter. And I went, and we got rid of the singer, who was really a lot like David Lee Roth.
Right.
And we have a girl. I said, wait a minute, you have a female vocalist? Wow. Okay. And so I came back to LA. So they said, yeah, George said, you can use a song. We're done with Paris. So I just rewrote the lyrics. That's all.
They went kind of poppy new wave at that time.
It was weird because I saw George had super long hair and Mick had super long hair, and they all had long hair, and they wore like platform boots, and they were full on across being Snow and Van Halen. And when I came back to LA from Germany, they had cut their hair off, and they had pointy boots and sharkskin jackets, and this chick, and George wasn't playing solos.
Right.
And they were playing like kind of plimsolls kind of songs. And I was like, what are you doing? And they're like, this is it. This is what's the next thing. And that's, unfortunately with George, he always was looking for the next thing. If you look at the first Dokken album, our first covers on, you know, he did when Kajagoogoo got big, George immediately did the top of his head blonde, and the bottom, he got the Kajagoogoo two-tone hair, and that's just, George was kind of like that. And I said, well, I don't dig this music at all. So if you guys want to, I got a record deal, and I got a manager, and I might have the Blue Oyster Cult tour. You guys want to do it? So that's when they joined the band and went to Germany, and I said, throw away the new age and the new wave, where the hell this stuff is. I think this is a fad. It's going to go away.
Right.
I'm going to stick to my guns and just do what I do.
And that was smart. We're going to get all into that because this is something that a lot of people don't know about this era.
No.
It's before MTV, before that. We're going to take a short break. We're going to get all into that. He's going to talk about the early scene, as he does in the new movie Inside Metal, the Pioneers of LA Hard Rock.
I try to chew off my ABS glue.
Oh, there you go. We'll be back. TRadioV.
Hi, I'm Sheriff John Bonnell. You're watching T-Radio. Radio and TV? What? Why are you asking me to do this after 12 drinks?
Hey, my fellow thoughters out there. I'm Charles Shaughnessy. Check out my new show, Here's a Thought, with Charles Shaughnessy, August the 7th, 3 p.m. PST, right here on TRadioV. Now, you know I have a lot to say, but I want to hear what you have to say. So tune in, grab your phones, call me, tweet me, email me in the studio, and let's get this conversation going. Here's a Thought, starting August the 7th, 3 p.m. PST, right here on TRadioV. That's radio in TV.
I'm Louis Lombardi.
And I'm James Gutierrez.
Bring you Celebrity Bookie every Thursday starting September 4th at 11 a.m. Pacific Time.
Every NFL game picked by this man right here.
Yep, gonna make you rich.
And fantasy stuff by me.
Fantasy stuff by him.
Fantasy football stuff.
On where?
On TRadio.
I think that's TV radio.
No, it's
TRadioV. TRadioV on radio and TV.
TRadioV.com, I think, is what they want.
Tune in.
Radio and TV on the internet.
Concept. It's the bit.
TRadioV. Radio in TV. Radio in TV.
All right, we're back here at the Inside Metal show on TRadioV. I got my guest, Mr. Don Dokken. How you doing, Don? He's trying to get the glue off his fingers there. He's not actually sucking his thumb, ladies and gentlemen.
I just, trying to get that fish pond pump going. At ABS, I should have known better to wear gloves, because this stuff don't come off, man. It's going to be on there for like years, but it's okay. I got my fish pond going, so.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. You know, before we get into the Inside Metal thing, I remember you were saying you were going to eat some chicken soup at the Rainbow, but now I remember Dokken hates chicken. Isn't that right? At least according to Norton Virus.
The commercial?
Yeah. For those that don't know what I'm talking about, I think we got the commercial queued up.
It's a great commercial.
I love that commercial. Do we have it there? There we go.
Imagine this chicken is your hard drive, and the 80s metal band Dokken is a computer virus. Dokken does not like chicken and wants to destroy it. The chicken, not knowing Dokken's intentions, doesn't really have any feelings either way. Now you have a choice. Would you like to allow Dokken to have its way with your chicken, unleashing a wrath the likes of which the chicken has never seen? Or would you like to deny it?
Whoa, take it easy, bro. This ain't over.
Protect your chicken from Dokken. Deny digital dangers with Norton Internet Security 2011.
Oh, that's so funny.
You have a choice. Would you like to allow Dokken to have its way with your chicken, unleashing a wrath the likes of...
All right, there you go, man.
There's 4 versions. The one he pulls out a switchblade.
Right.
And that's if you
If you
deny.
Deny, right.
And then if you allow, it cuts to us and we're eating chicken.
Oh, okay.
And we
I
got
haven't
these
seen
drums.
that one.
Yeah, if you say allow,
Yeah.
on one of the versions, then all of a sudden it cuts to us and we got and we're like, yum, good. And I got a chicken leg. And the funny thing, that place where it was filmed is the largest wooden structure in the United States.
Wow.
That was built in World War II to hold 4 blimps because, people believed that the Japanese were going to invade, L.A.
Right.
And so they had blimps in the air all the time, looking for planes coming to Long Beach because that's where we made all our ships.
Sure.
Long Beach and San Diego. And the truth was, quick little trivia off of rock and roll, but that the original thing when they went to Pearl Harbor was they were going to continue past Pearl Harbor and go to America and go to California and bomb our shipyards,
Right.
which would have screwed us. We would have been screwed. But the carriers are out. And they said, well, where's all the aircraft carriers? They're not in the harbor like we're supposed to. So they were afraid that the aircraft carriers were in Long Beach. So the guy said, you know what, we're just going to do Pearl Harbor because if we go to Long Beach, they got all these planes. If they got the aircraft carriers, then we'll get creamed.
Right.
But they didn't. The aircraft carriers were just out doing maneuvers. So they put all these blimps in the air. So they built this huge structure. That structure's been used on Nissan commercials, movie sets. It's a ginormous. I thought, why are we in here? Because, it's just us standing there and just a camera 10 feet back. And I thought, do we really need these gazillion-foot hangar?
Right.
But the director wanted this kind of incredibly over-the-top,
Right.
Depth of field
Like a
thing.
hangar times 10, yeah.
And when he asked me to do it, he says, it was a friend of mine, Ryan, he goes, Everett, and he goes, hey, he was actually staying at my house, my Beverly Hills house up in Benedict, and I had a guest house, and he says, I'm doing this commercial, and the band, one of the bands pulled out, and you want to do a commercial? I said, yeah, I'll do a commercial, and he's like, it'll be you with a chick, and I went, no. I'm not doing that commercial. Remember they used to do there was this band, Danger Kitty, and they ended up at a bar mitzvah.
Oh, yeah, which ended up being Steel Panther. I
Right.
believe, yeah.
Steel Panther, they're doing the Danger Kitty and the bar mitzvah. And
Visa
I said,
commercial.
I'm not going to punk myself.
Right.
For Visa, but they got paid great money. So, and then he told me how much he'd pay me, and I went, really? He goes, well, it's Norton antivirus. I said, for that kind of money, I'll wear a chicken suit. I will be the chicken. I will flap my wings, and I will cluck for the. It was a really crazy amount of money they paid us just to stand there and go, deny, allow. And then we did the next version where we cut to eating the chicken, and then we did 4 versions, and he did 4 commercials in one day, and then he had the guy that was on Baywatch.
Right. Hasselhoff.
Hasselhoff, he came in next, and his thing was with he was blowing his hair, and the hairdryer attacked him. And then they had a guy from the USC, this big guy, with his teeth, and a little worm, attacks him, and he laser beams him, and his arm falls off. So they did all the commercials in one day.
Wow.
But the money we made was great, and then they put it out supposed to put it on television, and they decided not to, and it went to YouTube and got it's up to I don't know, 3 million hits or something like that.
I've seen that.
That's cool, but it's a fun.
Yeah, it's a great commercial. So now you're a bona fide actor. What about any other?
That's Sean, not me. Sean's the actor.
Yeah, that's right. His bass player Sean in Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, Sons of Anarchy, and he just left the group actually, and doing a solo album. He played with us for 5 years.
That's right. I heard Mark Bowles is playing
Mark
bass, and I
Bowles.
didn't realize he was that great a bass
The
player.
trip-
to actually play.
well,
I know
Mark-
he's a fantastic singer.
He's a great singer. Did all the Yngwie Malmsteen albums, done Ring of Fire solo albums, a lot of Japanese bands. He's got a super high range. And I said, and he did some background vocals on Broken Bones. And I was saying, I don't know, I'm thinking Sean's kind of wandering off this other direction. We might need another bass player because Sean's got a lot of things. He's acting and he's doing stuff, and he's got all these other things he's doing. And he goes, why play bass? I said, I thought you were just the lead singer. He goes, well, no, I was in Ted Nugent.
Right.
I went,
That's right.
you were in Ted Nugent? He goes, yeah, I was in Ted Nugent. Call Ted, because Mick was on front. Yeah, Ted goes, yeah, Mark played me. I said, well, is he good? He goes, yeah, he's good. Check him out. So he took the bass and he learned a couple of Dokken songs, and then I already knew he's a great singer, and he's a lead singer. So I thought, why would a lead singer want to be a bass player?
Right.
But the truth is, Jeff Pilson is a lead singer.
Yeah, he's a great singer.
He's not a background singer. Jeff was a lead singer. I mean, I'm sure he's happy in Foreigner, but the truth is, when we got him in Dokken, we had landed the tour to go up Booster Cult, and Juan said, I really can't deal with all this kind of conflict with you and George. You guys only been together 3 months, and we're already arguing. And we went to Germany.
Even back then, you were.
Oh,
He said his
it's
throat.
day one.
Yeah.
I mean, George thought, look, I'll do this Dokken album. You pay me a couple grand, get some money, go home, and go back to doing Exciter.
Right.
But the truth was, I said, but George, you're living in the back of a Pinto station wagon, and that's the truth. It was they had a part that got kicked out when I came home, and he'd put curtains on it, and he was kind of living there, and Mick was bumming at some guy's couch, and they were driving trucks for Gallo wine,
Right.
delivering Gallo wine. And I said, well, wouldn't you rather just like go play than deliver Gallo wine? I mean, it's
Right.
So that I got in the band, but George and I never got along because he's a leader, alpha, and I was an alpha. And I said, but it is called Dokken, and it's my band, and you're a great guitar player, but it's going to be, the first tour we did, I still played guitar.
Right.
I played guitar the whole tour, Blois de Colt. I played guitar through the whole
remember
tour. My beautiful Les Paul that got stolen. It was only two I've ever made. They made 2 custom black Les Pauls for Peter Green with a white cream face. And I had one.
I think we got a picture of that guitar, actually.
Oh,
I'm going to
man.
throw up the picture.
Can you find it for me?
Let's
I want that guitar back. It's one of a kind. There it
is.
is.
There you go.
And so what I did.
Now, that's Airborne, right?
That's Airborne days. And then I took the tape, kind of like an Eddie Van Halen thing, and made my little Norwegian flag, because I'm Norwegian.
Right.
So that guitar, unfortunately, got stolen out of my house with one of Eddie Van Halen's heads that he'd had a Jose mod done to it.
Right.
Old small letter Marshall. I took my Marshall and took the guitar, and I thought it'll see the
We've got
light
some
of
other
day.
photos here too. I think we got maybe have another picture there. Is there more?
I thought that guitar.
Oh, there
look
you
at
are
that.
again. Now
See, that's before the tape was on it.
That was one of your first, very early shows, huh? With
This is
Airborne.
very early, because I can tell from the glammy kind of silk shirt with my scarf tied around my neck, and I decided to get the Peter Frampton perm.
Right.
And I'm like, and that was a disaster.
You look like Frampton.
I know. Everybody goes, you look like
Dokken
Frampton.
comes alive.
It does,
There you
and
go.
I love that Paul. And they said, oh, yeah, that white Paul. I said, no, it's not white. It's black. It just has a cream face. And they go, there's no such thing. I actually called Gibson to try to hunt down the serial numbers if it went on eBay or somebody sold it, so I could get it back. And it's been 15
Let's
years.
show some of the other pictures we got here.
That's
You
way
guys
back.
playing. That's more, what, about 83, 84? I
Yeah,
would say.
83, 84. That was when we did. I don't know. Actually, it's
probably later,
That's
huh?
actually later. That's actually taken when we were playing at the Palladium and we were filming Alone Again.
Oh, okay.
So that was we'd already had a couple platinum albums under our belt, and that was in our torn T-shirt phase at Rat, and everybody
Sure,
started.
I
And you
remember
buy a
that.
T-shirt and you tear it
Def
up, and
Leppard, yeah.
and everybody was doing that, and that was kind of stupid for us to try to follow
Here's
suit.
an old one here.
Whoa! I've never seen that.
That's with Gary Holland from Great White and
Greg Leon, and there's me. Look how young I look.
And who's the other guy? Is that Greg Pecca?
No, his name was Gary Link on the right.
Okay, wow.
He was a bass player we got at the last minute to do my second tour of Germany, because Juan was doing something, Greg Peckin went somewhere else. So that's also kind of the reason I hooked up with Great White, because Gary Holland went from Dokken to Great White.
Sure.
And then Gary Link I found, and we went to Germany. As you see there, that's where Heathrow, just going through customs.
Right.
And I like that jacket I'm wearing. Obviously, we're all wearing furry jackets, which means it must have been freezing freaking cold.
Yeah.
So I got Greg Leon on board, 'cause he was a great singer, great guitar player.
Absolutely.
And that was a second incarnation of Dokken.
Right. We got another pair. There's an old.
That's the original lineup. That's me, Greg Peck on the right, and that guy's name was Greg. I don't remember. Greg something.
So that was right from Airborne to Dokken when you.
This is the very first single I ever. This is 1977, before Germany.
Okay.
This is a 45.
Oh wow.
And the guitar player from Paul Revere and the Raiders.
Okay, yeah, you talk about him in the movie.
Drake Levin.
Right.
Saw me. I came into his music store all the time. I'd be playing. I was pretty good then. I could shred and play a lot of Blackmore stuff. And he said, "You're a good guitar player. You should go in the studio and cut a demo." And I said, "I don't know." So he should go in. I said, "Okay." And he produced me. Drake produced it, and then this was a bootleg.
Yeah, the German bootleg, right?
This album sold over 500,000 copies. It's a tape we did live. Michael Wagner recorded it in Hamburg, and the guy stole the masters.
Yeah.
And I tried to sue and tried to stop them, and the guy said, have at it. And they said, I'll be flying lawyers to Germany. And I said, it's just a live recording. It's no big deal. And
I remember seeing that on Import. A friend of mine.
Oh man,
that.
Everybody, their mother's got that record.
That was the first I heard about Dokken, because I kind of remember you. Did you do something on Herman Rarebell's "Nip in the Bud" or one of those?
Herman the German.
Herman's the German.
Herman's the German. I sang.
And I always thought you were a German guy because of the background you had.
The Scorpions and Herman. When Herman, after he met me in Germany, he wanted to do a solo album, and I said, okay. So I sang all the vocals.
Right.
But then my manager said, you're under contract with Elektra. You can't sing all the vocals.
So when did you sign with Elektra, then, with Dokken?
I sang with Elektra in '82.
Okay.
When Cliff Bernstein, who became the most biggest manager
now.
in the world, him and Peter Mensch,
Sure.
and they only had one band.
Right.
They had Def Leppard. And it hadn't come out yet. And he goes, hey, let me play these roughs. And I went, wow. He goes, this album's going to be big. And I said, that album's going to be huge. And he said, I want to manage Dokken. And I said, well, I don't have a band. It was just Mick and I. We became roommates. George was in England auditioning for Ozzy.
That's right.
And left to go play with Rat.
Right.
So I had a drummer and me.
Right. We're going to talk all about that. We're going to take a little break here on the Inside Metal Show at TRadioV. We'll be back with Don Dokken, talking about the Airborne days, talking about all the early days of the old LA Sunset Strip when we come back.
Hey, what's up? I am Scott.
And I am Ken. We are not the Chemical Brothers, but we are. We are the Crystal Method. And you are watching TRadioV.
Hey everybody.
Hey, man.
Hey, man.
Go ahead.
What's up, everybody?
Can I beat him in public or no? This is inappropriate.
Guys, this is like the Grammy audition. Don't mess it up.
Is it on?
Itchy butt. Let me start one more time on that one.
So your head really isn't as little as it looks. It's funny because it looks little.
Next we got
He actually, that wasn't even a pull shot. He hit me right in the. Did you feel the softy tissue of my?
Yeah, are you rolling?
Yes, it's got to be. It's
so
got
you're
to be
vampire.
devilish and
There you go.
vampire.
There
Yeah.
you go.
I love it that I'm in costume.
Yeah, I know, and I'm not.
Adventure, avalanche, adventure. I'm real.
Sorry. I forgot who I was for a second. We're one-take ponies. Is that it?
Yeah, you're done.
Give me a hug. I'm sorry I was a little...
You are It's okay.
Hi, I'm Bob Nalbandian, and be sure to watch my show Inside Metal, which airs live every Tuesday from 3 to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on TRadioV. I'm going to be bringing in the greatest heavy metal artists live right here in the studio. Once again, every week at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, every Tuesday, right here at TRadioV.com, radio in TV.
TRadioV. Radio in TV. Radio in TV.
All right, we are back here, the Inside Metal Show, right here on TRadioV. Love this lead here. This first one.
Oh, Lynch was just, during that album, he was on fire.
Yeah.
He was in his prime. No, he was free.
Oh, listen to that.
He's jumping back and forth in the neck, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, he's unbelievable.
He's a shredder.
Yeah, absolutely. John Levin, quite the shredder, too, man.
John Levin, and everybody goes, I have to laugh when, sometimes he'll give his card out and it says, John Levin, attorney at law. And people always say, they go, are you a real attorney? I'm not sure what that, what did you get?
Are any attorneys for real?
Well, I think they meant, like, did you get it off the internet?
Oh, yeah.
What's the matter, you university?
Right.
These fake, documents. And
sure.
And he's really shy about being an attorney. I was like, the guy graduated cum laude, from Loyola. I mean, the guy is, like, super smart. But he did entertainment. That's how I met John, through Jeff, and I was doing demos one day, and John in the '80s was in Warlock, Dorpesh.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He was a lead
that's where I
guitar
know
player
his
for
name.
Warlock.
Okay.
He had huge hair,
Right.
like down here, and then he came down to the studio and he had his suit and tie. He came from court and he had his suit on and he'd shaved his head really short, and he looked like a lawyer. And he came in and he said, "If I would have known I was coming down to play solos for Dokken, I would not have come."
Right.
He just thought Jeff said, "Come down, I'm in the studio and I'm just doing some demo." He didn't know it was for me.
Oh, yeah.
And I came in and I said, "Okay, here's a song." And I played it. I go, "Here, it's in E." And then, okay, and the lead section is in B. Go. And he goes, "What?" I go, "Just go, man. Just go. Play." He goes, "Just go." I go, "Just go. Just start playing." And he went, "Okay." And he goes, "I haven't played in a couple of years. I'm an attorney. I haven't played since Dorpesh. I mean, it's been like years." And I went, "Just go."
That's amazing.
And I went, "You haven't played in years, and you play like that." Holy! And I said, "Who's your favorite guitar player?" "George Lynch." "You sound like George. You have his chops."
He does.
He goes, "I know every solo, every. When he was in high school, he used to come to see Dokken."
Right.
So, because he's like 10 years younger than me. So he was the perfect guy
Perfect.
to join the band. He's been in the band over 10 years now.
Well, you got so much things going on right now. I know you got an upcoming tour that you're working on. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I guess. I mean, if it comes together, I got a call from the agent, and they're trying to put this thing called the Royal Flush Tour in the summer. It's Ace Frehley, Dokken, Lita Ford, Jack Russell's Great White, and that's it, I think. Or maybe one of the band.
I think first time I saw you was at the Country Club with Lita Ford. Is that right?
A long time ago.
And that was one of your first shows in L.A., I remember.
One of the very, very first
Were you
shows.
signed then? Because it seemed like, boom, after that it was, you guys
We were signed.
Yeah.
But it was like, I don't think the album came out yet.
Right.
That's
right. But I knew you from Germany. That's why I thought it was a German band. Oh,
for
Dokken.
years,
Yeah.
Dokken. Oh,
Yeah.
People walk at me and go, "Guten Tag." I'm like, "Hello. Wie geht's? Was ist los?" I go, "En schön." And that means everything's fine. They're like, "What's up? What's going on?" I go, "Fine." Then they start going, I go, "Dude, I'm from California. I live in Venice High School. I don't know what you're talking about."
That's funny.
But yeah, it's a Norwegian name. My parents, it goes back to Oslo days, and they all come from Oslo. So that was that. But everybody had the connection to the Scorps, and I did 2 tours in Germany, and so they assumed we were a German band. And the album came out in Germany first.
Yeah, wow, I remember.
When Breaking the Chains came out, George wasn't in the band.
Right.
No, everybody left after the album, and it wasn't a band. So the first Breaking the Chains album came out.
Was that with Greg Leon?
No. The first one with Lynch and Mick.
Right. Okay.
And one was called Don Dokken.
Right.
And it was a solo album,
Right.
and it had a picture of me in the cover, chained up.
Mm.
And originally it was going to be a picture of me and Juan, and then Juan left. And then when we got the deal in America, I said, "Well, what do we do now? The album's doing really well in Europe." And they said, "Well, let's make it, just drop Don and just call it Dokken." And I went, "Okay." It went from a solo album to a band.
Wow.
When George and Mick committed, and I said, "I have Cliff Bernstein, he's like a really great manager."
Sure.
And he said, "We can have the Blue Oyster Cult tour if we can stop arguing for 5 minutes."
Right.
And we did, and we stopped arguing for 4 minutes, and that was it. And that was then.
And you had some great bands. I mean, I remember when you signed with Geffen, you had that whole new band, which was like a super group. John Norum and
Peter Baltus
from Accept. I mean, come on.
Billy White, which was like an
Amazing
Austin.
guitar player,
he was
Mickey D on drums.
Mickey D from King Diamond, who's now been in Motorhead.
Motorhead, yeah.
From after Dokken, he went to Motorhead, and been ever since.
And I thought then it was, the new Dokken. This is like
everything's
a super
excited.
group and
Super
new
group,
label and
all the best musicians I could find.
Absolutely.
The bass player from Accept.
Sure, man.
And they're like, and we went on tour and we sold out everywhere. And we went to Japan and sold out. And everybody goes, "This band is the bomb." And then Geffen pulled the plug and said, "I've just sold Geffen to MCA Records." And I went, "Wait, you're leaving the Warner Brothers group? So what happens to my record? You're going to be on MCA." And I went, "Well, no offense to MCA, but doesn't everybody call that the Musician Cemetery of America?"
That's what it was back in the 80s, especially for rock bands. We got about 2 minutes left. Talk
Right.
real quick about your, you got a reality show coming out.
Well,
too,
we'll see.
right?
I mean, my better half, Lady E, she got approached to do her, like one of those, Housewives of Florida.
Oh, right.
And they wanted her to be in it because she's not as they say, most of the women in those shows either married well or divorced well.
Right.
But she's a self-made woman. She's an heiress. But she's also a Zen Buddhist priest.
Wow.
And they said, "She's a Zen Buddhist priest?" I said, "Yeah, she was in a Zen Buddhist monastery for 25 years, and she's still a practicing Zen Buddhist. And she's not a monk. She's up like
Right.
several levels into a priest. Her patriarch Manyak passed away, and then she left the monastery. So here they said, well, wait a minute, you got a rock star, and she's a Buddhist monk? And I go, yeah, no, she's not a monk, she's a priest. That's different. And there's pictures in the house. She's got pictures of her with the Dalai Lama, and she's got her robes on. She had the shaved bald head, and I go, your girlfriend's got a shaved bald head. And so she left the monastery, and she asked to be released from the monastery, and they let her grow her hair out, and and now she went into helping firemen, police, people in stressful jobs. She teaches meditation to try to handle stress. She's not pushing Buddhism a way of life to say, but as how to be calm in stress and meditation. So we are a dichotomy. So several people came to us and approached us. Producers said, monk, priest, and rock star. This is very strange. We'd like to do a show.
That's a great show. I could definitely see something there.
And she wouldn't want to do it. She's very shy, but she said, but if I can promote my beliefs, as that will help, so we can do the side.
We're here. It's already the end of the show. I could go on 3 hours with this guy.
Easy.
He didn't even get into the old stories.
I got a ton of stories.
You're going to have to watch the DVD for that. So go out to the theaters. It starts tomorrow in theaters. Go to metalrockfilms.com. Get a listing of all the theaters. Playing all over the nation. Don Dokken, my guest. Check out his new band, Dokken.com, right? They could go.
Dokken Central, yeah. Dokken.net, whatever. I don't know. There's all kinds of sites.
There you go. Go online. Check it out. Check out he's going to be touring real soon. You got a new record coming out, too.
Yeah, right in the middle of it.
All sorts of great stuff. Still alive and doing great. Don Dokken, thank you very much. Thank you for tuning in. TRadioV Inside Metal.
You are watching TRadioV, radio and TV.